What's up, gang? It's Wes. So wisdom can come from a lot of places. I have a whole huge collection of like art books. There's video tutorials. There's, going to like college and learning from professors. And then sometimes you can be maybe in a little bit of a rut or you're kind of up in your own head too much. And with all the knowledge and all the things that you're wanting to like really embrace and remember and try to get you through these difficult times. And then just sometimes you're eating Chinese food and you end up getting a fortune cookie that has maybe an answer to everything that ails you. So in this video, we're going to talk about the wisdom of this fortune cookie and what we could do on our quest to actually seek contentment in our artwork. So who knew, right? Who knew that a fortune cookie would be the thing? So ironically, let me tell you guys what this video was going to be. This was going to just be a video about using time-lapse features in things like Rebel and things like Clip Studio Paint, where I worked a little bit. I did this painting right here. You're seeing the built-in time lapses. You're seeing one time lapse right now of a thing of mountains that I did for Escape Motions. They were running a 13-day kind of an art challenge, like a daily art challenge where you had one word and that was kind of your brief, your prompt to work off of. And the one they gave me to do the advertising stuff for was mountain. So here's a picture of that mountain. And then also, I've been trying to solidify more of a style shift, focusing a little more on better shapes, more personality, I guess, in like characters or designs or environments. And you'll see that time lapse that I recorded also in Rebel of kind of a Radagast-esque wizard, like a druid, woodsy wizard with twigs in his hat and stuff like that. And then we're going to go over to like Clip Studio, how I normally do the recordings with OBS. And this was taken from a live stream, but I got a raw feed of it. So there's not my webcam or anything like that. And so we can just talk about this for a little bit. So that's really what it was going to be, is like, oh, these cool built-in time-lapse features are really neat. And they're super useful. And, now that I'm doing different types of work and trying my hand at more sketchy stuff, maybe I'll start posting more of these as, YouTube shorts or TikTok videos or whatever. And that was really the whole cusp of what the video was supposed to be. And I was like, yeah, it's not the best idea, but, we got to have something on the YouTube. You got to give the people something, And so the family, we recently ordered some takeout Chinese. And, as per ritual, we each like get our own fortune cookie. And we actually, at the table, we break open the fortune cookies and say, what did yours say? What did yours say? And we do that. And, a lot of times fortune cookies are very, oh, well, keep your mind open and good things will happen. And you're like, well, yeah, that's very... yeah, it's very vague. It's vague enough that it can be for anybody, for any reason, sure. And then we go around the table and, we all get one like that. And then it comes up to mine and I open it and it says, seek contentment. And I stared at it for a minute because once again, it's vague enough. It can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. But if you've been following me on the channel for the past, 4 months, I'm having this weird art crisis thing, and I don't know what it is. I don't necessarily think it's an art rut. I think I'm at this like leaping point to where I'm about to really kind of find my way and all this other stuff. But for whatever reason, the engine doesn't feel like it's quite revving yet. Or maybe the engine's revving, but I'm stalled out. Like I'm about to slingshot forward. I'm about to get better. I'm about to really, I feel like there's something in the air. You know what I mean? But I don't know what it is, or I can't quite like grasp it, whatever it is. But it feels like a big change is coming as far as my art style and the type of jobs I'm going to get and stuff. So my beautiful wife, my lovely salt of the earth, perfect wife, has had to listen to me complain and pull out my proverbial hair. I don't have a lot of hair. Well, maybe my beard hair. I don't know. But for the past, 4 months about like, well, yeah, I'm still getting gigs, but are they any good? And or the gigs are great, but am I any good? Am I any good for them? Am I the right call? They did hire me and they were happy with it. And I was happy that they were happy, but, I feel like I could do more. And am I giving people enough? And, all that stuff, right? Every artist kind of goes through this at a certain point. And I haven't had one of these in a long while. And this one's hitting pretty hard. So whenever I get this this fortune that says seek contentment, my wife takes it and then gives me one of those looks. She knows. She knows. She was like, you see this freaking thing? Listen to it. You see this? Waving it in my face like, do it. Figure it out. Whatever this is, yeah, it's fine to go through it, but like, it was one of those looks, said a lot with her eyes. And I agree. I need to get whatever this is that we're going through, we got to get through it. And I do think simplifying ideas and trying to find the storytelling and trying to find the essence of these images instead of relying on, look at all these nice thick brushstrokes. Yeah, that's cool, but that doesn't tell anyone anything. You know what I mean? That's a means to an end. It shouldn't be, that should not be the art. The art shouldn't be the brushwork. If that's the case, why am I drawing anything? I could just get paint and just paint it on a canvas and there's my brushwork, So there's no story there. There's nothing to really sink your teeth into. As far as like narrative illustrator type stuff. And especially if I'm wanting these jobs for, video games and tabletop games and card games and, board games and magazine covers and maybe even comic book covers and stuff, I have to get very focused in on what the important parts of an image are. And this idea of seek contentment, I was like, maybe there's something to this, because maybe I don't need to be all things to all people. We've brought it up before, but if you're a professional NFL player or like an NBA player or an athlete on any sort of team sport, you're not hired to be everything. The quarterback is not hired to also be the running back. It's actually impossible. You can't do it. The center is not going to be the, you know what I mean? Like, none of this makes sense. Like, if you're hired to be part of a team, you're hired for a specific task. And my whole bit is, yeah, I can make my own stuff and that's cool, but I really like working for a team of people better. I like working for a client and art directors and, having an art Bible that other artists made before I got there, and I can look at it and study it. And like, I love that process. That's very much why I like being an illustrator. So maybe I need to find the way that I can become contented and be very content with my ability to be able to adapt to any situation. Maybe my contentment needs to be found not in my art style necessarily, but I need to be content in knowing that as kind of this mercenary, freelance artist, I have to be willing to adapt to whatever the job needs. And maybe I don't find my own quote unquote style. Maybe I don't figure out this puzzle that is mixing great illustrative stuff with perfect brushwork. And maybe it's not obtainable. Maybe it's just not. Maybe I'll never be pleased with what I make. That's another thing that I could be content with. It doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to stop trying to push boundaries or learn all these new techniques, or maybe it feels sometimes like drinking from a fire hose, but maybe that's part of what I need to be content with, is that I will go through these phases of, maybe my art's not so good. Well, hey, this actually looks great. And maybe knowing that those are natural and the ebb and flow of creativity. Seek contentment. It's yet another piece of the puzzle. It really makes you think. Because I don't think I'll ever be content in my skill. There's always more to learn. There's always other people to learn from. And like this whole thing of art and painting and illustration is an inexhaustible well. It is a well that never runs dry. But you have to find your spot in it. You have to find the parts that you want to drink from, right? Because I do think whatever this journey is that I'm going on right now about more simplified shapes, design language, composition, that type of thing, it's going to pay off dividends later because I'll be able to add in painterly strokes. I already know how to do that stuff and brush work and edges and, I feel like my values are okay. I can always improve them, but, they can tell a story. But maybe doing this other stuff, this simplifying stuff, maybe not working as literally, not really worrying so much about like how much intense bounce light is wrapping around forms, and if the logistics of the light coming through a window doing this during this hour is going to be this color yellow, and it's going to, maybe I need to not logically think about art. Maybe I need to abstract it. I need to stretch it out. I need to turn it into a thing that's purely visual stimulation. Everything else is secondary. And be content with it. And be like, okay, here's my idea of what this scene should be. Instead of here's the idea of what the scene should be, because, if you have a window here and you have a this and you have a that and it's this time of day and it's overcast and your cast shadows are going to do this. And if you have a warm light and then you cool shadow and you're like, you know what I mean? There's so much of that theory that we can get bogged down in, but maybe none of that matters. Maybe none of it does. I'm slowly realizing that nobody cares how well you can paint or how well you can draw. Not really. Like, they like looking at it and, wow, you did that? That's cool. Whoa. But did it say something? Did it say something to the audience? Did it capture a viewer? Your style is going to be there. But maybe becoming content with the way that you relay messages. And maybe my way is, and I'll never knock it or never like shake out of it, is maybe it is the logical thing where I'm trying to do all this math in my head and all this other stuff. But I feel like it is getting in the way. I feel like that part of my brain is literally making it so I cannot get to the next level because I'm so worried about all these nuances that don't probably even matter. And the only person that cares is me. And maybe it's not worth all the headache, because I can tell you there are some things, some of them personal paintings, some of them the paintings I'm working on for clients, like headache, need to take Tylenol, thinking too hard about it, going into 3D rendering, doing bounce light stuff, studying, grabbing the flashlight, looking at the real life, all the stuff that the academics and even me will tell you to do. But it reminds me of that meme to where people talk about, well, a real artist would, oh, you use this, you're not a real artist, you're not a real artist. But then you take that so far back that it's like, well, now the only way you could be a real artist is if you hand whittled a paintbrush and you used real sheep wool to make the bristles. And I would have time to paint, but now I have all these sheep that I have to farm. Like maybe I'm doing all this dumb, like calculus and like what are the physics of light and burr, 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 and like going all on these tangents. Am I painting at this point? Like where does the picture making come into this? Am I solving, am I, splitting the atom? Like what am I doing? Is it a waste of time? Probably. And I think that's what I need to come to terms with is like, oh, I'm spinning my wheels. I just need to make cool art. I say it. It's kind of a catchphrase. It's true, though. Maybe the other stuff doesn't matter. Maybe I need to be content with like throwing that stuff out the window. Who cares? Who cares about bounce light? No one. I mean, I do, but why? It doesn't make my images any better. So a lot to think about. Thank you, Panda Express fortune cookie, for giving me kind of a punch to the face. Oh boy. Anyway, that's my time. You know where to find me. Thanks so much for being patient on all of this. I know, the past few months have been videos just like this. We'll get to the good stuff soon. I promise you. But yeah, come watch me do live streams. They've been a lot of fun going through this journey and having live chat and hanging out. And we're on Patreon and Discord and all sorts of places. And all my socials are in the description below. But I hope you're having a great time. I know this is kind of a holiday time, Labor Day and stuff. So I hope you're staying safe, eating good food, having good drinks, all that good stuff. But take care. We'll see you next time. And until then, go make cool art and, seek contentment.